We have two lovely panelists with us here today. First, you will hear from Dr. Mira Srivenisan, and she says that you can call her Dr. Mira, which I'm super glad about. So she'll talk a little bit about the health aspect. She's one of our deputy health officers, so we're glad to have her today. And then we have Christian Lucas. Christian is the assistant director for our environmental health program. He'll make a couple remarks related to that part of the press release. And then, as I said, if you can drop any questions you have as we go along in Q&A, I will facilitate that part of it when we get there. So I'm going to turn myself off and I'm going to turn it over to Dr.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Kim. Just like to, again, thank everyone for coming. And if you can't hear me, please do let me know. But as Kim mentioned, Contra Costa Health would like to confirm 4 cases of Legionnaires disease that were linked to the Zen Day Spa in Richmond. 2 more cases of illness were also identified that are also related to this investigation. As we previously reported, 2 cases involved individuals who became ill soon after visiting the business and passed away. This morning, we received final confirmation from the lab of water samples that were taken from the hot tub at the business as it containing very high levels of Legionella bacteria, which means the hot tub was a likely source of infection from this investigation. All those involved who visited the spa soon became ill shortly after. Contra Costa Health began investigating on August 4th of 2 individuals who were hospitalized with Legionnaires disease that were then fatal. The business was closed on August 5th. As part of this investigation, we contacted over 30 people who were connected with the investigation. We were also contacted by community members. We were then able to identify 2 other people who visited the business and developed lab-confirmed cases of Legionnaires disease. 2 more people also reportedly became ill after visiting the business. At this time, we do not believe that there is a current risk to the public, as Legionnaires disease is generally not transmitted person to person. Additionally, the time frame for anyone exposed to show symptoms, also known as the incubation period, has passed. Legionnaires disease is caused by the Legionella bacteria, which is a bacteria that lives naturally in fresh water. However, when there are conditions that exist in hot tubs and pools that are not properly maintained, the bacteria can grow. When the water from these sources are then aerosolized, such as in a mist or in water droplets, if an individual then inhales that, they can develop illness such as pneumonia, which can present with fever, cough, chills, trouble breathing. However, not everyone exposed will get sick. Most people will usually have a mild illness, but some folks can become seriously ill. Legionnaires disease is treatable with antibiotics if caught early. There's no vaccine to prevent Legionnaires disease. I'd like to end by saying that on behalf of Contra Costa Health, we do want to express our deepest and heartfelt regret for anyone who was touched by this tragedy. However, to protect the privacy of those individuals, we are not going to share or release any details about the cases. I'd like to pass it over now to Christian Lucas, who, as Kim mentioned, is our Assistant Director of Environmental Health Programs.
Good afternoon, everyone. Earlier today, Contra Costa Health issued an abatement order declaring the Zen Day Spa's hot tub a public nuisance. This allows the business 30 days to have professional deep cleaning and removal of the hot tub. It's important to note that hot tubs and pools that are open to the public require health permits to ensure they are safe, properly maintained, and regularly inspected. This business did not have a health permit for its hot tub. And Contra Costa Health would not have issued a health permit for this hot tub because it did not meet California regulatory standards. Currently, Contra Costa Health is working with cities, including the city of Richmond, and other partners to ensure that businesses with hot tubs or public pools have health permits. It's important for everyone to know that we make inspection records for every public pool or spa that has a health permit available at cchealth.org/EH. We encourage customers to use our database before using a public hot tub or pool. such as a spa or a water park. Also, the information that we provide to our permit holders about safely maintaining hot tubs or pools is also a good recommendation for folks that own their own private pools and spas. While it's a requirement for folks that have a health permit, it's a good idea for recreational users of private pools and spas to adhere to the same guidelines. So if you have a pool or a hot tub, please visit our recreational health page, again at cchealth.org/EH. Thank you very much. And at this point, I think I'd like to hand it back to Kim.
Okay, I don't right now have any questions. So again, if you have a question, oh, there we go. So this one is for you, Christian. Wondering why health would not issue a permit to this business.
As I mentioned, this Contra Costa Health issues permits to public pools and spas, and typically we issue those permits when businesses come to us to receive a plan review. This particular business did not notify us that they were going to be operating a hot tub or a spa, and so we therefore did not go through the plan reviewing process, which is the beginning stages of issuing them a health permit.
So Christian, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the commercial, that it wasn't a commercial hot tub and so it didn't have the water recycling format that keeps water safe.
Yeah, thanks for prompting me, Kim. So most public pools and spas have to have both disinfection and recirculation equipment. That's one of the things that we review during the plan review process. And this particular spa, as I mentioned before, is not something that Contra Costa Health would have issued a permit for because it was a residential unit and it didn't have some of the systems like a disinfection system that's a commercial pool and spa that we would plan review and therefore issue a permit to. So this being a residential piece of equipment, something that you would find in your backyard, did not have the same equipment and therefore was unable to provide the appropriate levels of disinfection to pool users, ultimately contributing to the Legionella bacteria that was found inside.
Thank you, Christian. That was super helpful. I think this one is for you as well. What kind of consequences do the owners face? Any fines? Is the DA reviewing the case for possible criminal charges? Maybe you can talk a little bit about that process and also the disposal of the hot tub.
Yeah, in terms of fines, we as a health department will be able to recover our costs in order to abate this issue. So that's all of the investigation or the costs associated with our investigation, putting together our findings. We will be making a formal referral over to the district attorney's office, at which point it will be up to them to do their own investigation and decide on whether they want to move forward with the particular referral. And I'm sorry, Kim, I missed the last part of that question. If you could repeat for me.
The disposal of the hot tub, just to be sure that we're clear about the disposal of the hot tub.
Yes. So because I mentioned that this was a residential unit and not a commercial unit, this is not something that Contra Costa Health would end up issuing a permit for. Therefore, part of the abatement notice that was issued earlier today requires the owners to remove and dispose of the hot tub. And they have to do so by obtaining a receipt for that disposal. Then they would have to submit that to us for review. And so we want to make sure that the entire issue is completely removed from the business itself. And if the Zen Day Spa would like to come back to environmental health or Contra Costa Health and obtain a health permit for a hot tub or a public spa, they can do so, but it's going to require additional construction and a different type of hot tub in order for it to be permitted.
Great. I think, so Christine, I see that you dropped another question in here, so I'm going to start with that. I also see your hand up, so if you want to go ahead and engage with the panelists, leave your hand up. But in the meantime, I'll ask this question also for you, Christian, so don't go away quite so quickly. Do the owners of the spa own any others with a hot tub? Maybe you can talk a little bit about the process we're doing around researching other facilities in the county.
Yeah, we're not aware of any additional facilities or day spas that these particular owners own, at least in Contra Costa County. That information, we might find out more information as we take a little bit of a deeper dive as we're making our referral over to the district attorney. In terms of what we're doing to investigate other day spas out there, I mentioned that we're currently working with our cities, including the city of Richmond and other partners, to take a look at day spas in those particular areas. Environmental health does offer a inspection service when a massage parlor is opening up for business. We do not permit the business, but we do a sanitation inspection. And so as part of that process, one of the things we look for are water bodies, such as public pools and spas, that might need to be permitted by us and might need to go through that plan review process I mentioned earlier. So one of the things we're doing is, along with our city partners, looking into business license records for these types of establishments, and seeing what we can do to either visit or contact these spas to figure out what is going on inside and see if there's any activities such as pools and spas that need to be regulated by us.
Great. So Amy, I see that you have some questions about the DA and negligence and wrongful death. I'm really going to refer you to the DA about any of those kinds of questions. That's outside the lane of what health would do. So Christian, maybe you can just one more time talk a little bit about the referral to the case of the DA, where we are with that, and what happens there. As much as you know, again, we don't want to speak on behalf of the DA. I would really refer you to their public information officer for those questions, but anything about our part of it.
Absolutely. For many of the programs within environmental health, we work very closely with our district attorney. And as such, when health is done with our part of the investigation, and we've ensured that the issue that led to the illnesses has been abated, we will put together a formal packet, including all of the investigative reports, photographs, anything that we've taken throughout the course of our investigation, and we will submit that with a report over to the DA. And then, as Kim said, it will be up to the DA on how they want to move forward, but we will certainly make that referral.
So we're going to give Christian a quick break and call on Dr. Mira this time. There are a couple more questions about, so we have the 6 people who were likely infected. Are they the only infected people? Do we anticipate more cases? Is there an ongoing danger to the public? Maybe you can talk a little bit about the incubation period and the danger to the public piece.
Sure, thanks, Kim. So at this point, we do not believe there's an ongoing risk to the public. As you know, the hot tub was closed on August 4th and the establishment closed on August 5th. As I mentioned, it's not something that can be transmitted from one sick person to another sick person. It really requires the conditions of the bacteria being allowed to grow in conditions such as water that hasn't been treated appropriately. And then when the bacteria grows in that water, it then being aerosolized, such as in a jet or mist, somehow creating water droplets that an individual can, that comes upon those, will inhale it into their lungs. On average, so the incubation period, as Kim had mentioned, so the time it takes for someone to be exposed or inhale those bacteria or water droplets until the time they actually show symptoms or get sick, on average is about 7 to 10 days, but it can be up to 14 days. So last Friday was 14 days from when the spa was closed. We don't anticipate any, it's certainly possible someone became sick towards the end of last week and is only now presenting now, but that is possible, but we don't necessarily anticipate any more cases if that's not the case.
Thank you. That's great. I see a question here about our interaction with the owners of the business, and we're not gonna address that aspect of the investigation as it's ongoing. What I will say is the business closed voluntarily. They closed the business voluntarily, and we've been able to get what we needed. So really, that's all that we're going to say about our interaction with the business owner at this point. So Christine, I see that your hand went down. I'm going to assume that you got your questions answered. I don't see that there are any others. Oh, okay, so Christine does have a point of clarification. Christine, why don't I just have you come off mute if that's all right?
Hi, can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I thought this would be easier to just ask because in the news release on August 5th, it says the deaths were reported to CCH on Thursday afternoon and Friday morning. So that would have been August 3rd and 4th. But I just wanted to clarify, did the deaths actually occur on those days, Thursday and Friday?
Mira, is that something you can help with?
Yes, I can take that, Kim. And yes, the answer is yes. One happened on Thursday, August 3rd, and the other on the morning of Friday, August 4th.
And just to clarify, we closed the jacuzzi piece, the hot tub piece of the business on Friday afternoon, and then the entire business was voluntarily closed on Saturday. So the timeline kind of gets a little confusing, but I want to be super clear. We heard about one death on Thursday afternoon, one death on Friday morning. We closed the jacuzzi piece of it, which we had permitting regulatory power over on Friday afternoon, and then the entire business was closed voluntarily at our request, I would say, on Saturday. Any other questions? Anything else that could use some clarification? Okay. It looks like that's all. We will actually, we will post the video or the recording of this on our YouTube channel in about 15 minutes or so. Generally is about how long it takes us. We'll get it there as quickly as we can, so you have it for your stories this afternoon. Obviously, you know how to reach us if you have any follow-up questions. We're more than happy to help you with those, but we appreciate your time today and helping make this easy for us to answer questions all at once by joining us this afternoon. So thank you so much, and we'll talk with you all soon, I'm sure.